If you've been told your hip pain is coming from your hip, but stretching, strengthening, injections, or rests haven't helped, this video might explain why. One of the biggest fears people have with hip pain is, what if this is just how it's gonna be? Pain with walking, pain with standing, losing mobility, losing independence. What makes it worse is the confusion, being told it's arthritis, a labral tear, tight muscles, but nothing is actually fixing it. Here's the truth most people don't hear. A lot of hip pain doesn't start with the hip at all. In this video, I'm going to show you how we clinically determine whether your hip pain is coming from your hip or from your back, and why getting this wrong keeps people stuck for years. Why hip pain is so confusing. First, the hip and the back are highly connected. You've got to look at both. Imaging often shows abnormalities, but is that really where the pain is coming from? Treating the wrong area equals stalled progress and frustration, and this normalizes your fear that you're broken and that you're just misdirected. So one of our biggest rules here at our clinic is we always have to rule out the back. Even when you're like, oh, this sounds like a hip, I think this is a hip. Yes, there's like lack of hip mobility. I really think that we need to start with the hip. No, always rule out the back, because ever so often, even when I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is a hip issue, and we go to the back, then all of a sudden it's really a back issue because all their hip symptoms go away when we start working on their back. So that is the first thing that you have to just do, is just make sure you rule out the back. But what are some of the clues that give us an indication that this might be more back related or this might be more hip related? Well, first one, typically, not always, when you have a back issue, walking, usually getting up, moving around, makes you feel better with walking. And not in all cases. There can be back cases where that does not help at all. But in general, it gives us indications of like, yeah, this sounds like a back. When you are walking, a lot of times when it's hip, it doesn't make you feel better. So that's something that you can be like, okay, check box for hip, because walking bothers you, and not check box for back. And that's kind of what we do when we're starting to look at asking questions and figuring things out. We're literally putting things in categories in our brain going, okay, there's more back related stuff here versus hip related stuff. But even with that, if that's being the case, we always start with the back, always, because 9 times out of 10, it's coming from the back. Other key differences is back pain, is like, where is the pain coming from? Like, where is the pain location? And so most of the time with the back, you're gonna feel it in the back to the side. You can feel it in the glute. Sometimes you only have back stiffness and you only feel it in the glute. So if you're getting pain in through that glute or even a little bit on the side, that's common for back-related issues. Hip a lot of times will wrap into the front. It can be a little bit more on the lateral side. It's gonna be deep, achy type pain. Back pain can be more like you're not really sure where it's coming from, but you know that there's some pain there. You can go in and do all the soft tissue and massage that you want to do, but you can't reproduce that pain for the most part. Sometimes there's some pain just because of the protection, but you get rid of the protection, it comes right back again. But that's really common with the back, is that when you refers there, you aren't really sure where, like it can kind of move. You feel like it's there, but nothing really feels super tight. That can happen with the back. With the hip, again, it's going to be a little bit more deeper, achiness. It's going to come more through the front part of that body. So when you look at range of motion, I'll just kind of show you. Doing things where hip flexion can be back related, hip external rotation can be back related, it can be hip related. Hip extension can be limitations of these can be back related and hip related. Typically hip internal rotation, that's when you're moving the leg this direction. Typically if that is limited, that is linked a little bit more to the hip. and not as much to the back. Not always, but typically. So when we're looking at all these different things of pain location and what makes them better and what makes them worse, and we're looking at their range of motion, those are all big common things that we look at that can also link us to, is it more back related? Is it more hip related? Another one that we look at is an inhibition. So what is inhibition? Inhibition is like, it's common to the back, and it's when your muscles won't fire very well. So a common one to the back would be hip flexion and dorsiflexion. So a lot of times if you go in, you test this and it's like weak, and then you test your dorsiflexion, which is the muscle here, and it's weak, those are really common things to the back and not the hip. So again, that's another indication that we can look at to go, okay, there's definitely a back component. We need to start there. And you can have it where you have a back component, and then we also have a hip component that we have to work through. But overall, those are kind of the differences that we look at to help us understand a little bit better as to where the source of the problem is coming from. You can have a back issue that creates a hip issue. You can have a hip issue that creates a back issue. And so you really have to go through, and sometimes we are like, oh, absolutely 100%. This is back, back, back. We go to the back, it does nothing to the hip. And then we're like, okay, but they still have back pain. We go to the hip, we start working on the hip, and then all of a sudden that improves, and so does their back. So you can have hip that can improve back, and you can have back that can improve hip. And it's really going through the evaluation process to really figure out what it is. And this does sound kind of confusing, because it is. It's like it's where the evaluation process really helps us in understanding where we want to go and where we want to start. And it's, again, also the reason why we always rule out the spine, because it's like 55% of spine issues can refer into the extremities. And so you really have to rule that out, and it doesn't take long to rule it out, but that is a piece that is often missed with most healthcare providers. How your body responds to certain movements gives us information, and that information tells us where the driver is. But I've had conversations where I was convinced 100% that this was a hip problem. And after evaluating movement and baselines and retesting, it turned out to be a back. So that's why guessing or only treating where it hurts keeps people stuck. Why does this matter? It matters because misdiagnosis is ineffective treatment. Ineffective treatment leads to fear, anxiety, and loss of confidence. Correct diagnosis leads to faster results, less frustration, and more hope. The goal isn't just pain relief. It's getting you back to walking, traveling, exercising, trusting your body again. And if you're dealing with hip pain and you're not sure where it's coming from, that's exactly what the type of people that we help, and we figure these things out every day for them. Click the link below to schedule a thorough evaluation or come to one of our free educational workshops where we break this down in person. Those are all in the links in the description.